Henry Burris TV is brought to you by Hockey Central Sports Memorabilia, Sylvan Lake, and Supreme Menswear, simply the best. Well, buddy, we have to talk about what happened at McMahon Stadium this past week. So how are you handling it?
I'm handling it all right. I mean, it's never good news to, especially receive that type of news kind of out of the blue. Yeah, it's things that happen in the game of sports. You don't expect it to happen to you when you feel you're still, able to play at the top of your game. I still feel I can lead this team to a championship, and I know I can. I mean, there's no feeling inside of me that says anything otherwise, and hopefully the play on the field doesn't show that as well. Yeah, I mean, people have bad games here and there, bad scenarios, bad plays, or whatever you want to call it. But, as a quarterback, I've been in many games also where I've had 2, 3 interceptions, and I bounced back because of those mistakes and played better in the course of the game. It's how the game is. It's how it is to be a quarterback. But it was just unfortunate I didn't get the opportunity to do that in Toronto. Drew did a great job, coming out and relieving and bringing the team back and giving us a chance to win. And I've always said at some point he deserves his chance. But, hey, Huff made the decision for him to get that opportunity now. Was I all for it? Heck no. Because I know the things that I can do in this team and for this team as far as going forth. And to be able to play against Saskatchewan is definitely something I'm always looking forward to.
The amazing thing about being a quarterback is you have to, just get in there and you finally get a chance to play. And then they bring in your successor, who they want you to groom.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the weirdest thing in the world. And if you don't do it, you're a prick.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, you're not a team player.
Right.
So it's a can't-win situation. There were some guys that you've seen coming up that weren't as gracious about it as you have been. But talk about that a little bit, because not everyone's good at it.
Well, I think it's the whole coaching cliche, because coaches and quarterbacks kind of, fit in the same realm of things. You're only hired to be fired is pretty much the whole cliche that we live by. But of course, you give it your all until that time comes. And yeah, you always have young guys they bring in year after year, trying to see who can be that guy to supplant, the veteran at some point in time in his career. We can develop him to become that next guy in line. It's tough because you're building a friendship with somebody that ultimately is going to take your place one day, and take your job from you. A job that you move your family clear across the world to be a part of it with you and experience the everyday circumstances with you, and possibly when he takes your place, now you have to move your family. It's a tough thing, a tough pill to swallow. I mean, in my case, I look at it like this, where if my services aren't needed here anymore, then somebody will need my services. And like I say, when I get on that field, I'm going to give it to people. You know what I mean? I know in my heart I can still make it happen. I still feel I'm one of the best quarterbacks in this league, and I feel I'm an asset to a team. And so that's how I feel, and that's why I'll always be bitter about the situation. But Huff made the decision. Drew deserves the opportunity, and I hope he does well, because that's the friend in me. But as a competitor in me, of course, I want to be in there leading my team, because I've helped bring Drew along. This is a team that I brought from the depths of ashes, from 4-14 and 04 to Grey Cup champions, and now it's a contender every year that we've been here. And I deserve the right to help this team win it again this year. And that's just how I feel. But Huff made the decision. I respect that. He's the head coach. I respect him as well. And, we're going to move on from here.
All week long since this took place, all you heard was reports out of everywhere in Canada, Saskatchewan, Toronto, Henry Burris. If he's not wanted here, the Argos would be the place that you could land. And it makes a lot of sense. And there was talk that that maybe the Argos were really interested in you at the start of the season, but nothing happened. Is that, I mean, Barker, he's a guy that knows you well. You've worked with him. Is that the place that you would you go to?
Well, I mean, of course,
they need a quarterback desperately.
Of course, first and foremost, I'm Calgary. You know what I mean? I'll always say that. And I don't know what the scenario in the future holds, but if Calgary wasn't a place, that would definitely be a place I would pay attention to, because, a lot of guys that have played for Calgary went there and done a lot of great things, and they need somebody. And anytime, you feel wanted, it's always a good thing, especially when you play this position, because there's going to be ups and downs. And, through the course of that, as long as you know the people that are involved in it with you in the organization, the head coach, the GM, they understand that, but they believe in you and they trust in you that you're going to be the guy to help get the job done. And when you have that type of backing, that's all you could ever ask for as a quarterback. I mean, you know, look at the guys across the league, NFL, CFL, who've had that backing. I mean, guys who struggle like a Tony Romo, he still has their blessing. To an Anthony Calvillo, guy who just eclipsed Damon Allen's all-time passing record. I mean, to have that sense of security and comfort allows you to go play your game. So, you know, whichever team is out there, whether it's Toronto, whoever, Hamilton, or anybody out there, if a quarterback's given that opportunity to feel that blessing or to have the ownership, the head coach, the GM's blessing as far as their backing and support, that's all a player could ever ask for. But right now, I still feel that in Calgary. But you know, right now, I just got to deal with the glitch.
You look at history. Kurt Warner, they said his career was done when Eli Manning came in.
Yeah.
Proved him wrong. I mean, he got kicked out of St. Louis, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they never really have recovered since he's been gone. The Giants did okay but he did so well in Phoenix, revitalizing that team. Brett Favre is another one that comes to mind. Here, South, you know, in the CFL, I mean, they were calling for Ricky Ray's head last year.
Yeah.
Travis Lulay's head this year. They didn't want him. And look at what those guys are doing. So it's just, be patient, my friend. Your opportunity will come, whether it's not here, but next year.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll continue to do that. I mean, you know, right now my job pretty much is to go out there and practice and prove to people who's the best and show people why, you know, the hard work has gotten me to where I am now. And like I say, I mean, you know, Drew deserves a chance, and I feel he's going to do a great job for this team. And my job is going to make sure I'm there for him, to support him, and make sure that I'm his extra set of eyes on the sideline. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Of course, I mean, to be able to sit here and say that, it bites me to the core to have to say that right now, because I feel I should not have to take a step back for anybody in this league. And that's the way I approach the game. I feel I'm the best in this game, and that's the only way I go out there and continue to you know, compete each and every day I step on that field. In my mind and heart, I feel that and I know that. But of course, the situation is what it is, and I am a team player. But at some point, you know, the decision will have to be made. And of course, we're at the end of the season right now, going into the playoffs, but a decision will have to be made as far as who's the guy. And hopefully before the season's over, we can find out who that is.
Let me ask you, have you and Joffrey Reynolds had conversations about this? Because it happened to him a month ago.
Well, I tell you, surprisingly, no. Yeah. I mean, because we kind of talked about his situation more so, more than my situation, because you know, Joffrey Reynolds, he's getting a chance to get back on the field and play against Saskatchewan this week, which he should get out there, and he's going to do a great job. I mean, Joffrey's been a quarter horse and a cornerstone for this organization for many years, and rightfully so. I mean, he's been a guy who's pretty much put this back on his team in certain games and carried us to victory. And to be able to get him back out there is going to be a blessing in many different ways. But, you know, we talked about the fact of how humble of a guy he is and how much of a team player. And he's really not one of those guys who really, you know, puts himself before the team, but he wants to make the plays that help make the team successful. And the fact that he wasn't in there, I know he had to bite his bottom lip on many different occasions. I mean, he's a friend of mine, and to see him in those situations was truly tough. And now I pretty much can understand, you know, what he went through. But, you know, I pretty much take the same angle. I'm all for the team, and I don't want to start any type of conflicts within the team, because we're in an important part of the season right now. We need to win, and whatever it takes to win, if it's Drew, if it's myself, as long as we're winning, hey, the ring still fits the same and it fits great. And so whatever it takes for us to get a championship, and if Drew's the answer, then so be it. But if not, hey, I'm there to guide us to the top.